Thank you for creating time to speak to us. Now, let's jump into the deep end of creativeness and exporting this creative content across the continent. Tell me, at this particular moment, do we even have creative content to put out there on a competitive market for a start?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of creative content that Africans create every day. Maybe the only difference would be that maybe we feel that it's not of the same standard that we'd see content coming from the States being. A lot of smartphone users aren't using Apple devices or super cameras or what have you, but the content is always being watched. If you look at the highest trending videos, for example, the Dibala video or King Monada's song, everybody across the continent is falling to that song. The videos might be blurry or what have you, but everybody's engaging with that content. Now, taking that to a more serious or series-based or even film-based type of content, there's a lot of that in the continent, and there's a lot of appetite for it as well.
Tell me, in an era where we're looking at smartphone penetration being very high, and if you look at the likes of Rwanda, where it's over and above 70%, I mean, it's a regular thing to have. Tell me, what is the biggest challenge here, and why aren't we seeing a lot of content from Africa maybe being shared all over with the South Africans, with North Africans, and all around, maybe to be in the same loop here?
I think the content is being shared, but the content producers aren't being remunerated.
All right.
I think that's the biggest problem. For example, I'm in South Africa. I've got my Facebook feed. I've got maybe 500 friends on Facebook, not too many, but I will see similar content to somebody that I'll meet here at the conference in Rwanda. Because it's the same type of, maybe it's a Senegalese video, but we're all watching it. For example, the Coupe Challenge as well. All right. We were all in Africa talking about that. Oh yeah,
the Coupe Challenge has gone viral big time.
It was viral. We played the song at the club. Everybody's doing the dance that they saw on the video. The only issue is there's no opportunity or understanding of the opportunities to monetize content in Africa. So YouTube has a very low monetization base, but there's also other means of making money from your content being out there. For example, partnering with brands for corporate advertising or what have you, or actually having it being formally produced and putting it up into DSTV channels. They're also looking for content. You look at Trace TV, they're trying to create content for each territory, where it's English speaking, French speaking, or even Portuguese speaking. They're trying to cater directly for each of those markets, and they're looking for new content all the time. Netflix is investing over $2 billion, I think, in creating content worldwide, and a portion of that, a large portion of that, is going to be allocated to the continent.
Tell me, with the rapid urbanization that we're seeing going on over Africa, I mean, cities are enlarging every day, and a big population of people in the outskirts, even in the suburbs here. Does this, in a way or another, push our creative industry, and does it maybe bring in some sense of kermesse, like going commercial with all this?
No, absolutely. I think the more we connected online, for example, in South Africa, at first cell phones were created, this was 25 years ago, for only 1 million people in the total population, which was around about 45 million at the time. And the uptake was so big that they realized that they're actually much more users than they anticipated. And they were looking at one specific market. Similarly to connectivity to the internet. If there are only 1 million people, or the most prominent and rich people who are connected to the internet, they will consume the kind of content that's already out there because they're there to consume. But when you connect the whole of Africa, that's when we demand to see ourselves in the content. Rather than seeing American or European content. So that creates the appetite for local content specifically.
Some analysts come up to say that content creation is not necessarily the problem, but also culture here is at play. And some people are hindered from creating what they believe could take the markets, even to make them a lot of money, but then culture denies them that right. Tell me, do you see it being a big problem to that?
No, I definitely disagree. I think, I mean, anybody who has the confidence to record themselves and put it out there, it has absolutely the full opportunity to take advantage of the market or online presence being a platform where they can expose their feelings or how they portray wherever they live. The only issue is when it becomes to formalized content, maybe on the Rwandan national broadcaster, they would maybe select a specific type of content that wouldn't necessarily reflect how people feel out there or what the youth want to see because of those cultural limitations. But then they can always go online and make themselves popular on YouTube and expand beyond the borders of Rwanda, find themselves in Nigeria, South Africa, Ethiopia to actually create content there and collaborate with other content creators across the
Manqoba, you're from South Africa. Of
Yeah.
course, if anybody on this continent knows where growth in the creative industry is, you definitely look at South Africa and probably Nigeria. Mostly East Africa right now is also on the rise with their likes. I got a chance to sit down with Nasty C, and we talked mainly about business and how to cut across different regions. Tell me, from where you stand as someone who was actually a rapper turned into a DJ and a businessman, how do we now make more profits? How do we get out of our comfort zones of our own regions and be like, hey, I'm creating something for an African market, not necessarily for where I'm from, for Durban or for Johannesburg or for Kigali?
Okay, so firstly, as artists, you have to take your artist hat off for a second and put your business hat on. Or if you don't have the capabilities, find somebody who will do it for you, and hopefully they won't charge you a lot of money. But institutions like the Rwandan Society for Authors, which is the equivalent of SAMRO for Rwanda, has very smart people who understand or have resources that can teach you how to monetize your content and which societies to belong to in order for the content that you have that is already being used out there to actually come back and pay you money. So you need to take advantage of the copyright that you're creating, because each content that you create is linked to your intellectual property and you deserve to be compensated for that.
Look, every time we host, someone in the arts industry, they will either give us an acapella or a freestyle. So we're not letting you off the hook.
Oh, wow.
You said you're a rapper and a DJ. So I'm going to beatbox for you because my computer can't give us enough volume, and you will do something for us, right?
All right, I'll
Ready
try.
to go?
Yeah.
Right, let me try this.
All right, I'm going to freestyle, and I'd like to say it's really been a while, but I'm going to stay. I'm out here in Rwanda. Maybe it's Wakanda because it's so cool, and we're taking it to the next level.
Hold on. Thank you very much for getting time to speak to us and speak about content and creativity and going across borders. That was rather very interesting. We hope that we can see more growth on that front. All right, that was Manqoba Kubheka.